Drake Maye, how we doing this week?
What's going on? How you doing?
We're great. We can't say what your head coach says. I don't know if you've noticed he starts every press conference when somebody says, "How you doing, coach?" He says, "Better than you," after these big wins. And I feel like you're doing better than us after another playoff win. What was that like, that environment, and moving on to the AFC Championship game yesterday?
Man, that environment was special. It was a good way to end the home stretch. I know we won as dominant at home as we would have liked this year, but what a finish. Props to the crowd, the fans, all year. It was a pretty sweet atmosphere in there. The snow was pretty cool, and just props for our guys. We made plays when we needed to, and it wasn't always pretty at times, but hey, that's playoff football, and we're playing against a good team with a chance to go win another one, the AFC Championship.
Just kind of like pulling back for the bigger picture purposes, Drake. I mean, obviously every quarterback, every team, every coach's goal at the beginning of the season is to make the Super Bowl. But to go to be a part of 4-13 one season, 14-3, now 16-3. You've won as many games this season as the team did the last 3 seasons combined. Has this journey been beyond any of your wildest expectations for the 2025 season?
I think the best thing is we're just trying to keep our head on straight and keep moving forward. We didn't really put any expectations on ourselves. Coach very well always reminded us that early on in the season. No expectations, no comparisons, and we just wanted to go out there and show our identity and play to it and see what happens. I think we've done that all year, and we just got to keep on taking one game at a time. And I think that's the best thing about this group. We're not worried about what last year was. This is a new team, new guys around the building, and look forward to building up these guys.
What was the weather like yesterday? How did it affect the ball and your throwing ability? And did it change? Did it evolve as the game wore on?
Yeah, I think
and we lost Drake Maye. His cheek hit the hang-up button on his phone, so we'll get back to Drake Maye in a minute there, talking to him about yesterday's win, 28-16, because the weather was weird. It was like a wet thing, and then it turned to more snow in the second half.
Quintessential wintry mix, Andy.
Yeah. So, and I think he touched a little bit on it last night. When you're warming up, and I never thought of this, when you warm up, the ball doesn't really hit the ground. Even though it's flying through the air, it doesn't really hit the ground that often. The center doesn't put it down as much, and some of those things. Mm-hmm. So there's like almost a uniqueness to game action when you actually get into the game and keeping the ball dry, and those guys, the officiating crew rotating the balls through with towels. So it's an evolution. All right, I think we have Drake Maye back with us.
Yeah, Leah lost you guys. You all right?
Yes, we're good. So
we're good.
you were expanding.
No, I got you.
Okay.
Yeah, I think some drives were better than others. I think the weather it was a pretty cool atmosphere. That's the best thing about it. I think the snow makes it New England, makes it Patriot playoff weather. I think the fans embraced it. I think the defense embraced it. I don't think it's a little different when it's kind of a little bit of a kind of mix of a sleet with a little bit of wetter snow. It makes the balls a little bit more tougher to throw. But I feel like I was throwing it good at times, and had some throws that I wish I had back like I always do. But our guys made some plays, made some great catches, and I think just getting used to that, and the more games that I play in that type of weather, the better I'll keep on getting.
There's an old expression that Mike Tyson made famous, Drake, about everybody's got a plan until they get punched in the mouth. And as far as, handling the Texans defense yesterday, I know you spoke a little bit about it in your post game. Being as aggressive and ferocious as you had heard, even more so. Did that make it even more difficult to try to, their speed and the intensity with which they pursued and hit, make it more difficult to adjust like you guys do in game?
No, we knew they were going to be fast. They were going to be physical. We knew they like swarming to the football. That's how they play, and they've credited them for playing like that all season long. They make plays on the football, which they did, and we had a tough challenge. And like I said, every drive wasn't what we wanted to be like. Not every one, but we had a few touchdown drives that were huge for us, and defense helped us out with one. So I'm just proud of the guys for battling through some tough times, and some times on the sideline where you're like, man, it's really just staying ahead of the chains on first, second down could have helped us out, and staying at third and long, which they thrive at. But really, I think credit them for what a defense they have, and some great players that play up to the hype, and they were everything that we thought.
Patriots quarterback Drake Maye here on a Patriots Monday on WEEI Afternoons. Resiliency was a word that was certainly being thrown around post-game, and you've faced two really good defenses now to open the postseason, and I think you'd probably say it wasn't always perfect. There's some plays you'd like to have back, but you scored enough points to win. You threw 3 touchdown passes yesterday against that defense. I don't think anyone's done that all year. How do you feel about these performances you're stacking up?
I think it's an awesome experience for me. Playoff football when the pressure's at a high and your season's on the line. You just win or go home or win in advance. I think it's awesome for me to live in these games and go out there after maybe a fumble or battle adversity and battling treating like just like the regular season, but knowing that the postseason kind of finality to it is at stake. So it's a great experience for me. Obviously, I hold the offense and my play to a high standard, and I'm the engine of the offense with the offensive line. So we got some work to do, and I'm confident the guys will go out there and have a good week practice and showcase that on Sunday.
You talked about adjusting to the weather with some of your throws and having a good feel for it at times and not at others. Obviously, you had an amazing feel on that deep ball that you delivered to Booty for 6, the final touchdown for the Patriots on the day. But I found it interesting that earlier in the week, Kayshawn was speaking kind of confidently about liking the matchup, and that's a Texan secondary that it seemed like everyone feared. Do you like it when your guys are really confident like that, or express that kind of confidence heading into a game, and then ultimately it pays off with that great connection?
Yeah, I think who wouldn't want to hear that from their teammates? Confidence and go making a play, and he backed it up. That's the best thing about it. He backed it up and made a heck of a catch. I mean, that was pretty sweet. In the conditions with the score of the game and kind of almost a nail in the coffin for how our defense was playing of Booty making a play like that and made some big plays all night. So sort of gave him some more chances, down the sideline. I underthrew the first one, but just proud of Kayshawn for this year. He's battled some injuries. He's battled some having some games where he wished he wanted the ball more and hadn't said a word to me, and just keeps on showing out and showing up.
Based on some of his comments, he was a little sick and tired about hearing how good the Texans' defense was. Also seemed like some of your defensive teammates maybe were sick and tired of hearing all week about how good Houston was on that side of the ball. Your coach said they're prideful guys. Did you think your team used that as motivation, the hype that everybody was throwing towards the Texans' defense?
No, I think it was something that they heard all week long. It's something that we heard how good this defense was, best defense in the league, and it wasn't, their defense was still playing really well. So it wasn't like, some of these, what we thought of the defense was wrong, but our defense just made a bigger statement than theirs, and that's what it was. We scored, enough points, and our defense helped us out with 7, but
Drake
got ahead early and then came back. You got me?
Yeah, we got you back.
Thank
Thank you.
brother.
Go ahead, Fitzy.
Yeah. No, I think our defense made a bigger statement than theirs. I think that's what the deal was, and they heard it all week long, and they showed out, and really was cool for them to experience that and for me to watch it.
Well, speaking of tough defenses, you guys potentially might have to face, if everything goes your way and you make your way to Santa Clara, the 4 best defenses in the NFL, but we're not going to put the duck boats before the horse here. You got a whale of a matchup coming up this Sunday in Denver, a place that has been notoriously difficult for the Patriots to win, especially in the postseason, something they've never done, 0-4. What have you heard about playing in Denver, Drake, and anything about like the sort of mystique that it holds over the Patriots in the postseason?
Yeah, I know it's a great place to play. I know the fans are great. I know they got a great team. They got some great players, and I know the altitude is a little different for us and some of the skill players running around. But I think it's a big team. It's a different team. It's a new team. What the past is in the past, and I think we're living in the present and not worried about really anything else. We're worried about Sunday's game and control what we can do as a team that we are this year in the 2025 Patriots.
Drake, as you leave one game against an elite pass rush and prepare for another elite pass rush next week, I'm wondering with the fumbles, do you feel like you held on to the ball too long, or is there just sort of a give and take there, a trade-off when you're trying to make some plays down the field like you eventually did with Booty? Sometimes you do have to hold it.
Yeah, I don't think there's obviously there's a kind of a timer in my head where I feel like I need to get rid of the ball or throw it away. I can do a better job of throwing the ball away and kind of having an incompletion as better off than letting the ball end up on the ground. But props to the guys. I think Will had 2 big fumble recoveries. These guys on the edge last week and this week as well, they're great players, and they've made plays on the quarterback all year long. So just being cognizant of where they're at, how we're blocking them up front. But I got full confidence in our guys, our offensive line of blocking them, and no doubt that they'll put on a show on Sunday.
I'm just curious if you have any relationship with Bo Nix, you guys both being top quarterbacks coming out of the 2024 draft class, and or if you've ever had a chance to encounter former Patriot, now obviously the quarterback going up against you this Sunday, Jarrett Stidham.
Yeah, I did pre-draft training with Bo Nix, and he was awesome. I got to know his family and his wife, and his wife and my wife, became friends. So it was cool to do, pre-draft training with Bo and see kind of our journeys. We played, one time in college, and he got us in the Holiday Bowl out there in San Diego. So I'm a big fan of Bo. What a great player, but what a great guy he is. And hate what happened with Bo, but I know that Jared's a great player, and he texted me before the season, Jared did, and I think it just shows to him what type of guy he is, and wish me the best of luck. So wish him the best of luck, and I'm looking forward to seeing how he does on Sunday, and hopefully we come out with a win.
Patriots quarterback Drake Maye here on WEEI Afternoons. Drake, we talked to your offensive coordinator on Friday. We talked to him every other Friday. And when we asked him about ball security issues, he made an interesting comparison for you. He brought up Steph Curry, and he said when Steph Curry misses like 12 shots, you don't tell him to stop shooting threes. And he said it's the same thing with you. He just trusts you to make the right decisions and ball security situations. What's your reaction to that comparison to Steph Curry from your offensive coordinator?
Yeah, I think that means a lot. It means a lot to me to have his trust, have his confidence in me, and I think I just got to keep on proving it. Proving it and take care of the football. I feel like I've done a decent job this year. I always think I can do better, and wish I had the numbers lower. But it's what it is, and I'm thinking the biggest thing that he probably has that confidence is after the battle of the adversity and coming back and putting together a drive or taking care of the football the rest of the game. And I think we've done that, and we've proved that, and that just goes a long way for coach. And I think, more confidence he has in us, the better we play.
So ESPN put a video out on their social media last night, Drake, that got a lot of traction where as Robert Spillane broke up the final pass, I believe it was intended for Hutchinson downfield, which basically sealed the game with about a minute left. Spillane, all your teammates, be they the ones on the field or on the sideline, were all freaking out, jumping up and down. And you just calm and cool, as collected as ever, just put on your helmet and walk back on the field. It was actually kind of remarkable from a distance. How do you keep that kind of calm and equilibrium about you, especially understanding what was just accomplished and how excited everyone is around you?
Yeah, I think I should have been more excited. I was probably, pissed. I was probably pissed off. I missed the throw to Hooper to seal the game and force our defense to get back out there. That's probably what I was thinking at over there on the sideline. So that's probably, I should have been more excited. What play by Spillane, props to our defense. I told him that after, I was, I need to do a better job of having excitement for them and pumping them up because, they're playing great football and it's been fun to watch. But, yeah, I was probably mad at the throw. I missed the hoop. That's probably what I was thinking about.
Drake, you were asked a question about Mike Vrabel last night, and in your answer, you talked about how much he coaches you and he always has something to say and it's always valuable. But you also said you still haven't quite gotten a grasp on his sarcasm. And I want you to expand on that a little bit. Like, what are some of the things he says to you that leaves you wondering, can I laugh? Can I not laugh? Is that really, hard coaching, or is that a joke? Where is that relationship evolution right now?
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to share most of the comments he has with us. I think that's personal. But, no, I think he has a genuine kind of sternness that is hard to pick up on because he's a little bit funny too. So it's just a even balance that he kind of has, control of the team meeting room when he's in there, and then kind of when he kind of cracks a joke, some of the guys are scared to laugh, especially some of the coaches are definitely scared to laugh. So I think it's just having an even balance of knowing. I think I'm gonna start laughing more and more, and if he gets mad at me, who cares? I think it's funny. He'll ask me if it's funny, then he'll start laughing.
Real quick, just to follow up, I don't know if you're aware of this, and maybe you can delve into this, do a little research. He was a guy, because there was obviously a similar set up with Bill Belichick. A lot of players were afraid to laugh at him or bust his chops. And Mike Vrabel was the one who used to bust Bill Belichick's chops in team meetings. So maybe you can reverse that and become the guy that's comfortable busting Vrabel's chops.
Yeah, I think that'll eventually be Will Campbell. I think he's already started to try to pave his way. I think that'll be Big Willie's job of being able to have that kind of that mantra in the team meeting room.
Real quick, I'm not sure if you'd heard this, but Taylor Lewan and those guys on the Bussin' with the Boys podcast recently revealed that Vrabel used to, I'm not even sure if he still does this. That's why I wanted to ask the question, refer to himself as daddy. Have you ever heard, has he ever done that around the locker room or sent that in a text or anything to anybody?
I don't have a comment on that. I think, whether, what stays inside the team meeting room is for him to have. And I think I'm going to speak for myself, and you can ask Coach on that one.
All right.
We'll take that as a yes, and we'll run the open for may or may not.
May or may not. It's time for a weekly peek. May or may not. Inside the likes, loves, mind, and style of New England's quarterback.
May or may not.
May not. On WEEI Afternoons.
Okay, coming off your first taste of a weather postseason game, domes and roofed football stadiums may or may not.
I think that's tricky. I think obviously playing my position, the dome is I wouldn't say it's a help factor, but I think it's that game last night playing in that atmosphere. I'll take that over playing in a dome. I think that atmosphere with the fans out there and cheering hard, I would take that over a dome.
Well, if the season goes the way I'm sure you, your teammates, and all Pats fans hope it goes, it's going to end in a parade. Parades, Drake May or may not.
I'm all for a parade. I think celebrating with people you enjoy being around or celebrating for a cause is always a time to go out there, have some fun, and enjoy it with people that you accomplish something or something down the road. I think it'd be something that I definitely would be a part of.
So I'm not sure if you had a chance to notice this, but part of the environment in the crowd, there were a lot of people, and I'll admit this on the radio, including my son, in attendance yesterday, who decided in the snow and 30-degree weather to take their shirts off. So taking your shirt off at a frigid football game may or may not.
Ooh, I think my brothers would probably do it. I think I would probably follow my brothers if they were into it. If I'd probably be at a game with my brothers. So I think in this weather, that'd be pretty cool. That'd be enjoyable and something kind of memorable.
All right, well, obviously you're heading out to Denver, a mile high in the sky for the AFC Championship. I'm not sure if you've spent a lot of time in the mountains. Mountain climbing and horseback riding, may or may not.
Ooh, may not. I don't know if I've ever experienced those hobbies. Nothing against that. That's just not kind of the skiing, snowboarding, none of that. I like kind of my feet being on the ground.
So you've talked about the adjustment to life in the Northeast and all that comes with it. Now you've had a few chances at snowstorms and precipitation. Not your car, cleaning off your wife's car for her in the morning after a snowstorm, may or may not.
Hopefully it'd be in the garage. So if it's not in the garage, then I'll probably depends on how I'm feeling that day. Typical me would depends on if I got good sleep or not.
Awesome.
And lastly, your coach famously said he'd potentially be willing to cut off a particular body part to win a Super Bowl. So sacrificing an appendage to win a Super Bowl, may or may not.
I would no specific body part. I would be down, but the body part Coach Vrabel referred to, I would be no comment. That'd be a tough decision.
All right, time now for the quarterback question of the week. The quarterback question of the week is brought to you by Northeast Men's Health, the experts in treating men's sexual health with 6 New England offices, or at northeastmenshealth.com. This one comes from the 401, Wendy in Warwick. This was a big topic mid-season, and quite honestly, throughout the season, she asks, do you feel like you finally put the soft schedule and fool's gold criticisms to bed, Drake?
I really think we did a great job of trying not to listen to the noise and listen to the schedule talk. And we're just trying to not prove anybody right or wrong. Just go out there and be us and showcase that we can play with anybody. And I think that's the biggest thing that we've done this year. And I wouldn't say it's to bed yet. We still got to go, showcase what we can do, and offensively against good defenses, keep on showing up and trying to put enough points on the board for our defense and playing together to win some games.
Real quick, a bonus one, slipping it in under the gun here. Any thoughts on playing at Mile High? The altitude, have you experienced that, whether it's your lung capacity or even throwing the football? Is that an issue this week?
They said the deep ball goes a little farther, so I guess we'll have to see what that's like. That'd be pretty cool. See if I can launch it, see how far it could go. But other than that, I think just adjusting to how we're doing. If I run around or scramble a little bit, just getting back in the huddle and giving the play call and little things like that, and maybe catch some extra air on the sideline. But I think more for the skill players. I think it's probably a bigger deal with them running around and do whatever I can to adjust to it and feel how it is in warm-ups.
All right, Drake, we really appreciate the time. Congratulations on the win yesterday, and good luck in Denver. 1 game away from the Super Bowl. Good luck.
Yes, sir. Thank you, guys. Go Pats.